Okay, everybody, I'm going to call the regular city council meeting to order. It's Monday, January 9th at 6 o'clock. Roll call, Bailey,
Here.
Pat,
Here.
Dart,
Here.
Maureen,
Here.
John,
Here.
Tom.
Here.
All right, everybody, can we please stand and say the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everyone. Okay, the next item on the agenda is public comments. City will now receive public comments on any issue related to the agenda. Limited discussion by the council may take place. Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to the consent agenda. Tourism Committee meeting minutes from December 5th. City Council meeting minutes from December 12th. Planning Commission minutes from January 3rd. Resolution 10-23, approval of $45,900 for a plow truck as part of the 2023-2030 capital improvement plan and 2023 budget.
Motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second?
Any discussion? Should we do a roll call on the plow truck?
We can, yeah.
Okay, so let's hold item number 4 out. We have a motion and a second for the consent agenda. Items 1 through 3. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, back to resolution 1-23, the approval of $45,000 for a plow truck. Pat?
Yes.
Maureen?
Aye.
Bailey?
Aye.
Dart?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
Tom?
Aye.
That's 45-9.
Yep. 45,900. Okay, next item on the agenda is reports of standing committees. Nothing for finance. Planning Commission, we met on the 3rd. We had a public hearing with Oak Grove Township about the north-south corridor. It was not met with open arms. Had a lot of discussion, a lot of good points. It went on a long time. However, the Planning Commission did approve it to send it to council. I believe it'll be on next meeting's agenda.
Yeah, so next meeting, there'll be an ordinance before council regarding the updating of the comprehensive plan that will be brought forth.
Slipped in my mind what else we talked about.
And then the other items that we discussed were part of our zoning code that we're currently reviewing as part of. So we went over accessory dwelling units again, electric charging stations, and putting some language in there about that. And then also looked at short-term rentals and bed and breakfasts. There was one other one and parking requirements for retail and restaurants and things of that nature.
Can we talk about alternative energy things too? Solar?
We did talk about solar at the previous meeting from.
Okay. All right. So the next meeting for Planning Commission is February 6th at 6 o'clock. Parks and Public Property, or Parks and Public Works. Next meeting's Tuesday, January 17th at 5. Health and Safety had a meeting tonight. Dari, you want to recap that for us, please?
It was a pretty light agenda. We discussed Locust Street, a project in regards to adding some stop signs and also some street lights, additional street lights on Locust Street during that project. The cost, hopefully, once we are able to determine what that cost will be, would be incorporated because of some other things that may not be done on that street project. That saves some money we can use toward putting some extra street lights on the Locust Street project. Stop signs, we'd like to incorporate 2 stop signs in that project, but we're going to kind of move forward with engineering to determine how closely they should be spaced, how far apart, and see if, also because that street will be narrowed a bit, that would maybe reduce some of the speeds that we see on Locust Street as well. We reviewed a code enforcement pamphlet that Carter will be issuing with the next utility bills, which is an informational pamphlet, which I think the residents will appreciate. Hopefully some people learn something about what things that we look at when we do look at code enforcement, and the things that we like to see and not see out there, and try to eliminate any second guessing with our residents as well. We also reviewed a goat ordinance, and we'll be passing that on to council to have that approval in the future. Some discussion about the Prescott Days location, and the detour of Prescott Days was, we've decided to move it to the next health and safety meeting, which will be on March 9th. And that was it. That's what we talked about.
I have it as March 13th.
Oh, sorry, that date again. I don't know where I pulled up this agenda from. March 13th, the next meeting.
Thank you. So, Personnel Committee, next meeting Wednesday, February 1st at 5 o'clock. Next item on the agenda is communications and new business. We'll entertain any public comments at this time. City Council will receive public comments on any issue not related to the agenda items. Then a discussion by the council may take place. However, no action will be taken on any items. This includes written requests or documentation, possible action at a future consideration. Okay, hearing none. The next item on the agenda is all Croy inspections agreement renewal.
I make a motion to approve the Fall St. Croix inspections agreement that goes from February 1st, 2022 to January 31st, 2025.
And I'll second that motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve all Croy inspections agreement renewal from February 1st, 23 to January 31st of 25. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion passed. Okay, next item on the agenda is Resolution 2223, providing the repayment and redemption of the outstanding $3,895,000 general obligation corporate purpose bond series 2012A. Matt, you want to elaborate on that?
Yes, so at our last meeting in December, the council approved a general fund balance policy of setting our fund balance between 60 to 75% of the subsequent year's budgeted expenditures minus capital project set outlays. One of the things that we discussed with, as we were looking at Locust and Elm Street and just general debt service moving forward, was what kind of opportunities did we have to try to lower that debt service, and also as a result of the borrowing for Elm and Washington Street, making sure that debt service that we're going to take on as a result of that is how can we lower that impact as much as possible. In talking with Ellers, one of the opportunities that we do have now after this period of time that the 2012A GO bond or general obligation bond has come to its term where it could be called, meaning we could prepay it at this point. So that's one of the recommendations that Ellers had in terms of limiting that debt service. 2012A bond was initially issued for a street reconstruction that included Walnut Street, and as additionally we purchased a fire truck with it at that time for $3.895 million. Currently remaining in the outstanding principal balance is $1.24 million. This So looking at our funds, what the idea would be is, there's a sources and funds at the bottom, and basically the line item that we're concerned about in terms of cash contributions is right under that sources of funds. And you can see what's the amount dedicated to the levy, and then TID 5, stormwater, joint fire. And that gets you that $928,067 that currently is remaining that's not in budgeted funds. So the idea here would be that the initial $400,794 would be paid out of general fund balance that we currently have. Additionally, the $330,758,000 for TID number 5 would come out of there as well, and would be paid back over time over the life of the TID. And then finally, the remaining amount, which is $196,515 under stormwater and joint fire, would be borrowed from sewer. So if you look under sewer, right now we have a little over $3 million in terms of cash fund reserves that is unassigned. So we would borrow from that, pay it to them, and then stormwater and joint fire would both pay back those obligations over time as well. So if this is something that is approved tonight, then we come up with a loan schedule for those accounts and bring it back to council, and that would basically show how those funds would pay back over time. So before you tonight, I guess I would turn over questions for that discussion of that prepayment of bond 2012A.
Anybody have any questions?
What's the interest rate on that bond?
That's a good question. I apologize, I don't have that before me right now, what it is.
I can't really weigh in on that decision without knowing that.
Okay. I can get that information. I don't have it before me tonight, unfortunately.
Any other questions? If not, entertain a motion to approve Resolution 0223, resolution providing for the prepayment and redemption of the outstanding $3,895,000 general obligation corporate purpose bond series 2012A.
Mayor, I'm sorry, I have a question.
Go ahead.
Tom, what difference would it make to know the interest rate? Just so that I'm more informed about what.
Well, let me see. If we're retiring a interest rate of 2%.
Yes.
And we're doing borrowings at 5%,
Right.
that's lighting off every alarm I have.
Uh-huh. Normally, that would be true for me as well. But I think the interest rates are going to be higher at this point in time.
Yeah,
But we were trying, we thought it would be best to pay off this debt first before we take on the second debt.
that
Because
was
we
in the
can't-
context of staying within 65 to 75% of our borrowing limit.
Yeah,
So
That's a
I will say
separate question.
I'm almost certain the interest rate on this is lower than the interest rate of what we're borrowing. If you like, the council can table this resolution till the next meeting and we can get that definitive number for you. Just to go back to your point, I guess you just made, is the rationale of why we picked this bond is because we can fully retire this bond and we can pay off this debt and not. So it wasn't because the interest rate was necessarily higher than what we're borrowing for the Locust in Washington. It was that we can retire this debt, it can come off our books, and that would overall reduce the amount of current debt that we're paying off.
and it keeps us below that. All I'm remembering is that line that we shouldn't go above. And I don't want to jeopardize the street project borrowing, because we absolutely have to commit to getting Locust Street done. And the other one, so,
Well, we want to get Locust Street done.
yeah.
I don't know that we absolutely have to commit to it. I believe that we have to look at everything, and we have to have all the numbers to make a responsible decision.
So do you want to table that then?
What is the, that would be in only 2 weeks we would be tabling it. Will that interfere with the
So,
timetable?
not getting too far of the agenda, but the recommendation to council tonight will be for the next item to be tabled as well. So if you actually would keep them together moving forward. So if you wanted to table this one.
That would be good. I'm just looking for some more information.
Okay.
Okay, so then I'm gonna look for a motion to table resolution 0223 and 0323.
Given that I read the municipal magazine, there's a difference between tabling and pushing. So we want this agenda on the next, we want this item on the next council meeting. So let's push it to the next council
I
meeting.
will make a comment though, I mean, I think that, you know, if you're reading your material ahead of time, if you're questioning, that should have been brought to staff prior to tonight.
I've been reading it, and I did notice in my reading today that it mentioned 2% on the current bond. And that raised some questions in my mind.
Okay,
And
but
I
it
wanted to
should
see
have been
the-
before today though, Tom, is what I'm saying. If
I
you've had
didn't get
significant
it until
questions,
today.
Well,
why not?
He doesn't have a computer.
But you
I have a
haven't- I'm just
computer,
saying,
and
I'm
I-
just trying to be real, and that's,
Well, I'm trying to be real and get the real numbers that we're looking at.
but it's your responsibility to get this information before tonight.
No, I
Yes,
don't
it
agree with
is.
you.
Okay.
I got the
You have-
information,
okay.
and I brought it up.
well, Mayor,
Go ahead.
but we can't spend this money on, because it's already spent. We already borrowed for a project. And so by retiring this debt early, I think that's a good thing to do, regardless of the interest rate. And we are borrowing for we can't move the money. I mean, it'll just be a slower payback. So the money's already spent. So I don't see why we couldn't. I mean, the interest rate doesn't,
We had the ability to take the vote, and I was willing to go with that.
Okay, so do we have a motion to approve the resolution?
I will make a motion to approve the resolution. 2-23.
second,
We have a motion, and a second to approve resolution 0223. Any other discussion on the motion? No?
But
Go ahead.
I would like to, I guess, say, if we could find out what those details are at the next meeting, regardless of whatever we do here tonight, if that's possible, please.
Sure.
Thank you.
So Bailey,
Aye.
Maureen,
I,
Pat,
All right?
Garth,
Aye.
John,
Aye.
Tom.
No,
Okay, motion carried. All right, the next item on the agenda is resolution 0323. We want to table that. Okay, we want to push that. So I need a motion to do that.
motion to put resolution number 0323 to the next council meeting's agenda.
Second that motion.
Okay, I have a motion and a second to table resolution 0323, providing for the issuance and sale of general obligation, street improvement bonds, series 2023A for the city of Prescott. Is there any discussion on the motion?
If we table it, it has to be untabled by us. So if we just push it, then we can put it on the agenda for the council without having to untable it.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? All right, thank you. So, the next item on the agenda, get to it here, is resolution 0423, authorizing $18,500 for economic development services to certify the Prescott Business Park shovel-ready.
Thank you, Mayor. One of the things our planner Carter Hayes has been working on is working with Excel Energy on getting our Sears property, or I guess formerly called Sears, or the Prescott Business Park property, which we purchased under 50 acres last year, to expand and get it shovel-ready. Excel Energy has a certified site program. Additionally, they have a grant program that, as part of trying to get your site shovel-ready, they will offer up to 50% of funds in a grant to help you pay for items to get the site certified ready, shovel-ready. That includes doing a phase 1 environmental site assessment, a geotechnical evaluation, or soil borings as they call it, Alta Title Survey, Alta Title Commitment. And then they also require an endangered, protected, and rare species assessment and an archaeological and historical use assessment. So if approved, one of the things that if approved by Excel Energy for the grant, we would have to 50% cost share at $18,500 for a total cost of $37,500. So we'd be splitting it with Excel. Currently, as of last year, we had $34,824 that came in as part of a lease that we do for the land with the farmer that farms it. So that money has been put in general fund reserves. We did not have that as part of the budget in 2022, so we would be pulling from that to utilize or pay for our half of the funds that we need to have as part of this program. So with that, again, this is contingent upon us getting the Excel approval. So, but we wanted to be ready as soon as that happens, get council approval so that we could move forward if we were approved. So I'll turn it over to council for questions or comments.
Great idea.
Yeah.
It makes it way more marketable. So I would make a motion to approve resolution 0423, authorizing $18,500 for the economic development services to certify the Prescott Business Park sites shovel-ready.
I'll second that.
Question, which resolution number is that? I have two
0423.
Which one?
423.
0423.
Okay, all right.
What, they give us any kind of an ETA?
We just checked with them last week and they said they're still reviewing all of the applicants and determining their funding.
Okay, so
Priorities.
the funding's not guaranteed?
Right, not yet, so we're doing this contingent upon us receiving
Yeah.
those. So if we got the Excel grant, then we'd move forward with the proposal that Cedar Corporation has given us for doing the items listed within that proposal.
And if we didn't get the grant, then we'd kind of back up and start over?
We'd have to reassess and we'd bring it
Okay.
back to council for discussion.
Okay. And if we do get the grant, I guess my question is, back to, is there an estimate from Excel on how long it would take for them to certify this as shovel-ready? Would it be next fall? Because I think one thing we talked about was they weren't going to do core samples or drilling or things like that when the fields were under crops or whatever, but doing it early this spring before that happened would be a good time to do that stuff. Just curious,
Yeah.
do we have?
So Excel has basically like a 6 to 7 page document that is filled with a bunch of questions that pertains to the site itself: water, sewer, utilities, storm sewer, price, what you're asking for. And then additionally, it asks for these items that are as part of this proposal. So Carter has actually already finished putting together the items that we could answer without having to do any field work. So that's been submitted for review, so they've actually already approved that. So essentially, once we get these items completed, it's looking like the site would be certified fully shovel-ready.
Any other comments on the resolution? If not, Bailey,
Aye.
Maureen,
Hi.
Pat,
All right?
Dar,
Aye.
John,
Aye.
Tom.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. So, the next item on the agenda is new agent for Papaconio's LLC liquor license.
Before we go on, Mayor, I'd point out that on the memo, it does say the attachment is resolution 0523,
Yeah.
so there's a typo, I believe.
That's why I was confused.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just to point out, that was my typo, so I apologize, Council.
So does that resolution cover the confirmation of client requests for services for Cedar Core and the city of Prescott?
Yes.
Okay, just making sure before I moved on. Okay, Papatronios has new ownership. As a result, seeking to place their liquor license under a new agent name. Existing agent to David M. Henniker.
Motion to approve new liquor license for Papatronios to be in the name of David M. Hinniker for a beer and wine license.
I have some problems with, there's no representative of this transaction here to address questions to. And I have some questions.
Eric, did you approve it?
Mm-hmm.
I had a question, I guess. It says, request is contingent upon police department reviewing the request and granting approval, and you have done that? Okay.
I know Dave well. I'm not denigrating Dave. I just had some questions regarding, is it going to stay in the building it's in, the business? Or is the business going to move to another building? And several other questions regarding that.
I don't think that's reason though to hold up a liquor license though.
Right.
Because there's nothing really that's within the liquor license that would control any of it, you know what I mean? That's kind of like a separate, it would be like a planning.
Just to point out, if the business does transfer locations, it would have to come before us again to transfer premises, essentially similar to what we did with Quick Trip when it was bought up. So that would have to be another process that they would have to come again.
Okay.
Is David Henniker the new owner?
No.
That was
There's
a
three new owners.
I guess could someone explain to me why the liquor license is switching to David Henniker if he's not the owner?
He's the agent.
I can explain it.
He is representing their business. As
In some kind of,
As an
legal way?
agent, yeah.
He's responsible for the
Is that typical
sale of
liquor
liquor.
licenses?
I think Eric has,
I think Eric
has
can
comments.
take care of it for you.
I can explain it for you.
Thank you.
So the owners don't live in Wisconsin. They live in Minnesota. But your liquor agent has to live in Wisconsin. So a lot of times what a lot of these places will do, and they're not the only one, the owners own the business and then they appoint a liquor agent who lives in the state as their liquor agent. Now I can tell you, this is not the only one that he's a liquor agent on. So he is already a liquor agent here in Prescott, actually. He's just taking on this one as well, which is also common.
Okay.
So that's why that's like that.
What is the agent?
He's basically responsible for all the liquor licenses to make sure they're in compliance with how it's stored, sale, how it's sold, to who. They're responsible for that.
Okay.
So they
Any
actually,
violations go on him.
yes. I mean, they'll essentially go on to the owner as well, but he's the agent, so he's responsible for it. And he knows that. He takes on that responsibility once he signs away on it.
Okay, nice.
So, yep.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Thank you. All right, the next item on the agenda is appointment of the city clerk, Rochelle Temmers. We interviewed, we actually had 4 people that applied. 3 actually were chosen, and then 1 tapped out. So we have Rochelle and another gentleman, and we chose Rochelle. So we conducted the interview, Beth, Dawn, Matt, and myself, and I think she'll do a good job. She already knows a lot about the city. She's currently the clerk. She works for our city attorney. So I think she'll do a good job. So I'm recommending that we approve Rochelle Temmers for the city clerk with the city of Prescott.
I'll make the motion.
I need a motion.
I said I'll make the motion.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Second?
Okay, I have a motion, a second to approve Rochelle Temmers for city clerk.
I do have, just, my only concern is that because she is, working as our municipal court clerk, that we have to, I think, have a discussion in the personnel committee just to make sure that we've got a definition of when she becomes, starts her position as our city clerk, that there's
No conflict of
there is
interest.
a conflict of interest, that we need to discuss whether or not, of course.
Well, I assumed she was resigning.
Okay.
As
So
the
that's what we
municipal-
need to discuss.
Is it possible that somebody could do both these jobs?
Yes.
I have no idea.
Yes, it is.
Is she going to do both?
I guess that it would be the decision of council, but right now the process would be based on what council's said previously about trying to save funds and the ability for her to already do it. We were at least hoping to try and then see how it went, and if either party in terms of staff or the judge felt it wasn't working, we would go out for a court clerk.
It needs to be addressed at the personnel committee.
Yeah.
So, absolutely, we should move forward with her
Yeah,
in this
I
new
wasn't
position,
aware
but we need to
that
have that discussion.
we were combining the positions.
Aren't we putting the cart in front of the horse then? Don't we want the personnel committee to give us the sign off before the council does it?
We're not signing off on that tonight, Tom. We're just approving her as the city clerk.
Okay.
Correct.
That is another item to be discussed.
And I have no problem.
All in favor, say aye.
Yeah, aye.
Opposed? Okay, thank you. Other business, got a council workshop Monday, January 23rd at 5 o'clock. We have a proposed council workshop Monday, February 13th at 5 o'clock. So mark your calendars.
The January 23rd, is that DOT?
Needs parking.
Downtown parking.
Thank you.
And I have one other thing on business. Don't forget the Prescott Winterfest this weekend, January 14th, from the Prescott Tourism Committee, along with the Chamber of Commerce. It'll be from 11 a.m. till 8. The details can be found at thechamberofcommerce.com. So everybody should attend. They put a lot of hard work into it. Sounds like a lot of fun, so come support your city, your Chamber of Commerce and Tourism.
Should be nice weather too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's ice carving and a lot of other things, so. Anybody have any other business?
Motion to adjourn.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Right.
We're adjourned. Thank you, everybody.